Well, it does need, but there are some people that need to take some stuff off their websites and other things,
Right.
because it's been very, very divisive.
Well, and that ranker can carry into the general election.
And I can't take off crackpot. I'm sorry.
My question is this: is that I'm not a Hickory resident. My office, Hickory municipality is my largest municipality. County is the largest county. County is, but as far as crime is concerned. Although I think your crime rate's good and your law enforcement's excellent, just by the nature of the city of Hickory, it's the largest concentration of serious crime in the 25th district. And so my question to you, Joe, and to you, Mayor, is, although there hasn't been a lot of contention, Joe said it was something like 98.5% of the votes were uncontested or were unanimous. What are some of the other issues besides voter turnout or the pools that we're looking at voting on? I'm just not familiar enough with Hickory City. I'm concerned about law enforcement, and I'm concerned about city managers, and I want those to continue to be strong as they are right now. What are we talking about as far as the divisiveness that needs to be in city council?
Or something that needs to be changed.
Like I said, I don't have a dog if I don't live in the city, but I'm just curious about that question. What are some of the issues
well, my answer is
coming up?
My answer is nothing needs to be changed. There's no cronyism. Votes are not always unanimous. Sometimes Sally votes no because we're not liberal enough. Sometimes I vote no because we're not conservative enough. We can live with that. The meeting's over, we go on to something else. The other night I voted no on the fees to be assessed to these internet gambling guys. First of all, I'd like to see them not even there. But I felt like if they're not willing to post the odds of losing, they ought to pay double. If they'll post the odds of losing, give them the lower fee. So I voted no.
Follow-up question: can we do a public nuisance against that club in the back of the city council there? That's happening to be out of hand. We'll have that conversation later, but you know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about. I'm partly in the store.
We're hearing about that. We're hearing about that.
I have kind of a statement that follows on Jay's statement about my mother's property that I own, and maybe Jay's property. We're not in the city of Hickory, but we're in the city of Hickory planning area, of which we fall either prosper or suffer by the rules that the city imposes on our properties. But we have no representation. We have no vote. So. How many people are, I guess, affected by that? And I mean, that's a pretty large group of people that have no representation within the city.
Well, this is not going to change that. Okay.
I see that, but either side's not going to change it.
Well, it's not going to change. But I will tell you what we have is, first of all, we're no longer going to have any forced annexation in North Carolina.
Goodness.
Now,
Thank goodness.
And I want you to know something. I'm probably the only mayor who held my hand up and said that's a good thing. Everybody else wants to attract more taxpayers. They spend and then tax, then they spend and attract more taxpayers. We're not going to have forced annexation. We still have ETJs. That is talked about every time they meet in Raleigh. I'm not real hung up on it here in this city, but there are places where the ETJ and the things that could go on just outside the city limits could be very detrimental to the city. I'm not hung up on it here.
What's an ETJ? That's exactly what I want.
ETJ, many years ago, being in an ETJ many years ago meant you were going to be annexed someday. That's what it meant. And then, of course, annexation became unpopular, and then with some of the crazy stuff that some of the annexers did, like Monkey Junction down in Wilmington. They said, not only are you coming in, although kicking and screaming, you're going to pay the taxes, and we want $4,000 for water and sewer hookup. Yeah, people were outraged. ETJ, extraterritorial jurisdiction, now means that we have some authority over whether you raise chickens in your yard or whether you put 8-foot wide mobile homes, or anything that somebody might do with their property that you couldn't do in the city. But incidentally, the county doesn't allow those 8-foot wide mobile homes. I'm being I'm exaggerating very much. But the ETJ allows us to control traffic patterns to some degree as they're coming into and exiting the city. And we have wielded that power with a very light hand. But we do have that power, not to the extent that some other places do.
And these are areas outside the city limits.
Yeah, they're just outside the city
Just
limits.
explain that those are city areas outside the city limits.
That would be Mountain View and.
That would be
Parts of Mountain View, parts of Mountain View are in there.
Us too, we're in it. Yeah. We don't like it, but we're in it.
Get back to Jay's about, what's coming up on the agenda, what's coming up, what issues are coming up. I don't know. Here again, for me personally, this referendum is about increasing citizens' voices to be heard. Give you an example. Right now, and I didn't bring one with me, I meant to, a city council agenda. If you flip through it, you have the invocation, you have special recognition of people. Then they go to town voting. Consent agenda, public hearings, whatever. They vote, they vote, they vote. Everything's decided. Then at the very end, citizens requesting to be heard. Now, if I have an issue on the consent agenda, item K, that I wanted to speak against, I can do it. But it's already been voted on, and it's already been passed, more than likely. Okay? I think the Cobb County Commissioners here, I know in Iredell County, Caldwell County, Lenoir City Council, Statesville City Council, they have citizens requesting to be heard right after invocation. So that citizens will then have a chance to look through the agenda prior, pick out an issue that they're passionate about, and they can get up and they can make a case, for or against. And then our elected officials go on the record with a vote. In Hickory, our elected officials go on the record with a vote, and then we're allowed to say, shame on you, or way to go. So
Can you not do that at the meeting before? Are you not allowed?
we don't have the agenda comes out on Friday afternoon, and the meetings are held Tuesday.
So you don't know in advance
I
what
don't know
those
in
things are going to
advance.
be.
To talk about the $1 million tent, real quick, very quick.
Is it $1 million?
I don't know.
Well, I told you.
I still don't know. Because we've asked the city manager, can we have a line item budget on this capital project? I know of at least 3 requests that have been sent in. None have been honored. Okay? I don't know how much it costs. I know that it originally was going to cost $245,000 or $285,000. 2 months later, that escalated by 30% to 400 and some thousand. Now we're at 501,000.
Long way from the meeting.
Well, we're halfway there. I'm a half full kind of guy. Well, let's talk about how it was paid for. It was paid for with money. First of all, no citizen input was accepted. No public hearings were held. The city is going to spend $500,000. $500,000. And not one citizen has an opportunity to say publicly, I'm against this. They didn't have public hearings because it wasn't tax money. I was told by a council person I spoke to, we didn't have to hold a public hearing. Well, why not? Because it's our money. It came from the parking deck fund. It's our money. It's not tax revenue. So we can spend that money as we see fit with no public input. Now, is it $1 million? I don't know. I think it's a little bit more than $501,000 because we haven't been given the costs of labor. The city did it, and it wasn't put out to bid. That's another thing, too. Mick Berry says when you have a capital project, you have to put it out to bid if it's at least $100,000. This is a $500,000 project, yet it was not put out to bid. So who did the work? I don't know. I was also told it's not a tent, which I agree with because a tent keeps you dry.
All right, guys.
All right.
Well, I won't.
Get ready, wasn't it?
Give me a minute.
Then we're going to have to go.
How we vote. The agenda comes out on Friday. Now, if it's a public hearing, it's advertised a long time before. The agenda comes out on Friday. People have 4 and parts of 5 days to contact council members, email us, and express concerns about anything on the agenda. Second, we have overturned votes. After, we have made mistakes. Not often, and they weren't huge, but we've made mistakes. Mistakes is a matter of judgment in the eye of the beholder. Third, We do second readings on important things, which gives another 2 weeks for us to get citizen input. The parking fund, I don't think anybody ever said that's not taxpayer money. It's just some things do not require public hearings. Okay? And I will tell you, the parking fund, I mean, the tents and the swimming pools is what this is all about. And I don't think there's any comparison for the tens of thousands of people who are going to use the structure downtown and the 50 kids a day using that pool, those pools, for 2.5 months a year. Lots of decisions we make we would like to do for our citizens, but we can't afford.
Guys, thank you.
Can I say I do enjoy the shade at the farmer's market though?
Isn't it beautiful?
The farmer's market is great, isn't it?
We deserve
Yes.
that. We deserve